guys, how do we feel about blackouts?
Well, I don't know. It's probably bad.
What if you didn't have to miss your favorite team's game in your region?
But Adam, I thought that's impossible and there's no way to do it.
Well, listen. There is NordVPN.
We allowed to say that?
Yeah,
that
you are.
NordVPN exists and it's awesome?
You're
you
allowed-
can just kind of watch games?
If you're a little bit annoyed with the fact that you can't access the content that you want to ask just because you chose to live in a particular geographic location, knowing full well that the internet should be available to everybody. Well, let me tell you about NordVPN. Particular. Did I not say particular right?
I don't know.
You know what? You listen.
Yo.
All I'm trying to say
You guys are going to fight today.
is that with over 5,000 server options, no show, no game is out of reach.
Whoa.
No game show. You see?
Yeah, you can watch them all.
Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/dangle to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So that's 4 bonus months, okay? On top of the discount you're getting.
A third of a year. All right? Focus.
That's like Q1 plus a little bit of Q2 as well.
A little bit.
Make sure.
All right.
All right. Listen, and also Uber Eats vouchers users in Canada who purchase any 2-year plan will receive Uber Eats vouchers as follows. Okay, you'll get it for a standard plan, $10.
What?
For a Nord Plus plan, you get $20.
What?
And for a complete or ultimate plan, you get $30.
What?
So when you're using Nord to definitely watch local games, you can just order some food.
It's also really great for like, you know, hiding your IP and being secure on the internet.
Yeah, that stuff, but like out
so
of
you don't end
market
up
games.
Let's
go.
It's just so you don't end up giving somebody 50 grand in a shoebox, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Anyway, NordVPN, okay? NordVPN.com/dangle. Again, it's NordVPN.com/dangle. I got it out.
You
Let's
did a
fire
great
up this
job.
show, baby.
You got there.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Hello, it's us and it's you. Woo. And Steve has had very little sleep, so this is going to be a fun show. I'm excited.
It's okay. I'm punchy.
When he sleeps, not a little bit. The Leafs probably played 2 of the most consequential games of the season this year, or these last 2 nights. They were against teams the Leafs barely play. They were past everybody's bedtime, but they were a statement. And I want to start with this. Thing. Over the Leafs winning streak, which is now to 6 games.
6.
Scoring leaders for the 6-game winning streak, according to Jonas Siegel of The Athletic. Austin Matthews, 13 points. Mitch Marner, 13 points. William Nylander, 10 points. Bobby McMahon, 10 points, McMahon!
Bobby McFrickin' man! Up to 17 points on the season, tying him with Pierre Engvall. You're right.
Oh, don't do that.
No. Well,
That
in fairness, Engvall played 18 more games. So
This is the longest winning streak, or tied for the longest in the Matthews era.
is it really? I know
it's either tied and the next one breaks it, or they just broke it. I forget which one.
That kind of sucks, actually.
They've had some streaks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
kind of sucks.
You got like Columbus, who's got, we're gonna win 15 games in a row, like a couple of years ago, didn't they? It
Yeah.
was like Leafs were like, well, we can do 4, maybe 5.
You know what? No, I'm not letting you do this.
Oh no, listen.
No.
I am
Adam's
thrilled. I'm thrilled that
I
they're on a
know
winning
he's
streak.
objectively right, but like,
Since Matthews been on the team, you can't go longer than 6 games in a row.
Yeah,
Like,
come
that's-
on.
You had a lot of years
That's
to
a
get
lot of
that
years.
done.
he's scored enough that you should be able to win 10 straight with just him.
Kyle Dubas would be like, listen, we got to stick with our process. We got a
know
process.
what?
We got to stick to our process.
I'm actually glad we haven't won more than 6 straight. You never want to get,
Yeah, you never
want to
get
get lackadaisical.
Wouldn't want to get too many points.
Complacent.
Before the game, via Josh Cloakey from The Athletic, the day off in Arizona allowed Matthews the chance to host his teammates at his home for games of pickleball and multiple rounds on his golf simulator. This season in particular, Matthews continues to establish himself as the vital leader on the Leafs team. And the effect on the hosting duties was obvious. The newly tanned faces around the makeshift NHL visitors' locker room, LOL, Wednesday morning made the team made for a team of Leafs who looked as relaxed and content with themselves as they have all season. And you know what I think is cool about this?
What?
Is, we talked a little bit about it over the course of the All-Star break when we were talking about, somebody asked us a question about captaincy or something like that. And I said, Jesse made a really good point. He said, listen, why would you take it from John Tavares until Matthews has established himself like that?
There's no
and
rush.
It's these little things. I'm not saying this makes him the captain, because I think Jesse was right. I still think he should be captain, but I think Jesse was right.
Like a good team.
But that's a good start. Would we not say?
I would agree. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of photos that we see. Like they'll have Matthews on a graphic with McKinnon and with McDavid, and sometimes you're like, well, that's the only guy not wearing the C.
That's not true.
What?
This is objectively a fact. Nathan McKinnon isn't the captain of the Colorado Avalanche.
No, but he feels like it, so it counts.
You guys have said this multiple times, and he literally does not have a C on his jersey.
Yeah, he does. What's that Fruit of the Loom thing? It's in my head that he is the captain, so he is. Sorry, that's how it works.
I just want to point that out.
I said it into a microphone.
So the Leafs
wrong with you?
beat the Vegas Golden Knights
Not the first time
7-3
that's happened.
last night. They beat the Coyotes 6-3 the night before.
No,
Let's start with the Coyotes game. It's Morgan Riley's last game suspended, but the defense without him has been great. Specifically, Timothy, because you can't. It's not just Timothy Liljegren and TJ Brody. It's Timothy now.
He does
T and TJ.
He does not look like waiver wire fodder.
But you said at the beginning of the year, Steve, that he would be waiver wire fodder forever, didn't you?
I did.
No, you
with
said
no chance of redemption.
What you said at the beginning of the year was he's got to establish himself, or he becomes waiver wire fodder.
Yes, this is like okay. When we went into this stretch where we know Riley's going to be out for 5 games.
Yep.
You're looking at the decor and you're like, all right, who needs to step up? And the answer I came up with was no one, because I didn't have faith in anyone to step up. Mm-hmm. Like there have been opportunities this season where like every game is a great game to step up. Every game is a great game to do your best. Every game is a great game to separate yourself from the pack, elevate your own stock with your own team. I didn't expect this. And I got to say, TJ Brody as well.
Oh, man.
Like,
this is the worst I've seen TJ Brody play as a Leaf, because he's been spectacular the other 3 years.
On the season.
No. What I'm saying is this year is the worst I've seen TJ Brody play as a Leaf.
Yes.
But now this is the best I've seen him play this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Regular TJ Brody is back.
And what made me feel really good last night, William Lagesson, his birthday, he's Morgan Riley's D partner.
We're not talking about last night's game. We're talking about the Coyotes.
Give me a fucking...
I'm going to...
So what I am thinking is the okay, fine. I'll save that.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen,
We'll get to
the Brody Liljegren pair, really, really good.
Benoit McCabe,
really, really good. And they were together in those 2 games, and they were together the next night that we're not talking about yet.
Now, the Leafs defense is far more detailed over the last games without Morgan Riley. This is the 5 games without Morgan Riley. They scored 27 goals and only allowed 11.
Is that good?
You're going to win a lot of games if you do that.
I don't know.
Maybe not more than 6.
Maybe not.
But you are going to win a lot more games. Now, here's the thing that was really, really interesting. And we'll get to the Matthews stuff because we have to. But it was the debut of new lines for the Leafs, and 2 pretty consequential lines. So on the third line, on the second line, I'll start there. Bertuzzi maintains his second line spot. Who would have thought? The number doesn't matter. Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander.
Oh, yeah.
McMahon, Tavares, Robertson. And look at that. All of a sudden, there's depth scoring again over the last 2 games. But specifically, you can see it, obviously, starting with McMahon. You see the way Tavares, Robertson, McMahon work together. Wow. Really good.
That is, we just talked about, the eventual transition of Tavares being the leader to Matthews. That's tremendous leadership. Tremendous leadership to take a demotion in a way. Like whether you consider the Domi line the second line or the Tavares line the second line, Tavares is playing with 2 rookies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's playing with Robertson and McMahon, 2 guys who have been healthy scratches this season, except for, McMahon is shit hot right now. He's absolutely unreal. But he accepted it. He, even post game, he's like, well, I played with Robbie a little bit. And I'm like, yeah? How much have you ever played with Nick Robertson? And he goes, but Bobby I've never played with, Robbie and Bobby. Who doesn't love hockey players? And he gets his first 2 even strength goals since friggin' December. Like, just, you can pout, you can feel bad for yourself, you can give less effort, you can, no, he's, you know what? I'm going to be the best third liner in the league. How about that? Instead of complaining that I'm on the third line, how about we just wreck shop?
And Domi Bertuzzi, alongside Nylander, puts 2 dicks on the same line.
2 dicks. And it made, that's the first time that game against Arizona I think I've ever seen William Nylander play that mad. Like, can Sean Durzi be on every team that the Leafs play? Not that
of all the guys to get mad at, too, Sean's like not the guy.
He's decided, I hate this friggin' team that traded me, and he's good. Like, he's good. He would immediately make this team better if he was on it. He's certainly not, though, on account of he hates the Leafs and they hate him. Mm-hmm. And when Willie was getting into it, do you see the difference that having 2 dickheads on the same line makes? Like, it's not every line needs a dedicated babysitter. These teams, these tough teams that we talk about, the Bruins every playoffs, the Panthers now, they send waves of this shit at you. Mm-hmm. Waves of it. And they send it to you in their top 6. Like, very often, like, I feel like the days of the shutdown line are kind of gone. Well, like the shutdown third line, our shutdown line is our very good players we send out against your very good players, right? So that's what makes them so formidable is your top 2 lines or whatever, your both teams' top 6s are going head to head. You got to have some shitheads in there to be on the ice. Like, Ryan Reeves is a great depth deterrent. He's never going to be on the ice at the same time as like Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk and all those guys. William Nylander, I hate being a boomer about this dude. He looked like he played taller.
Oh, no question. And
he's
also
been fantastic.
We were waiting for Dick Bertuzzi to come out, like total a-hole Bertuzzi. And it seems like, first off, obviously having somebody else there that's going to bash skulls with you, or grab somebody by the collar and at the thing, that does help. And I feel like there's some speed there for Nylander now too. Like, Max Domi is very quick. He's
Super
a great
good
passer.
Oh my God.
And yes, he has his defensive whatever. And listen, if you're trying to play great defensive hockey, putting Bertuzzi, Domi, and Nylander out there together is like, wow, I don't know about that. But here's the thing. If they always have the puck and they're always in the offensive zone, it doesn't really matter.
That's kind of been the story of Domi's season. I feel like, just visually, I don't know what the numbers are, but when he's on the ice, I usually feel like good things are happening. But when they get hemmed in, they're there to stay. But I haven't seen any of that shit over the last few games.
Yeah.
Holmberg can play both sides, right?
Who?
Holmberg?
I mean, basically every winger the Leafs have can. I don't remember Holmberg playing on the right.
I'd like to see him in that Nick Robertson spot. I think he might work a little better than on the JT line.
I think that's ultimately going to be Kelly Yarncroke when he comes back.
Yeah.
And then Nicky Bob on the sidelines?
That's going to be a fascinating decision because he hasn't played poorly enough to deserve to be scratched. But
what if you started Yarncroke on the 4th line and then whoever fails first?
I kind of wonder if that's what's going to happen.
Because Yarncroke was good.
Take out Reeves, you put Yarncroke in there, and then I think that's Yarncroke's spot. But I'd like to see Holmberg get a shot with the JT McMahon line because those two together look phenomenal. It's weird that we just found this magic with McMahon, but I'd like to see Holmberg get a shot over Robertson just for a game or two. It's working, so you can't change it.
They got to try that. They got to try that. I totally agree, and this is the time to try. What made this game really special? First off, the camera angles at Mullett Arena are just, I can't not mention that it looks like an OHL game. I can't. I gotta say it. But the shots of Matthews, and I think Kaylee Sibley, who runs Sportsnet's social media, was down there, and I actually saw her shot of watching Matthews score a goal 50. And like it was amazing because he scores and then everybody gets up. And it's a lot of Leaf fans, but also Coyotes fans got up too.
She does such a good job.
She does, but I thought
I miss Sportsnet's social team.
I thought it was cool that both sides kind of got up and celebrated that because it's a win for Arizona that this player is here.
Absolutely.
And also guys, we were talking about jokingly on Wednesday about how much games like this mean and how often the Leafs blow it.
Yeah.
And it was like usually in seasons past, it was like put money on the board for the other team. Oh, JT's returning to the island. Absolutely, Babcock's going to start the backup, and let's for sure blow the game. I thought that there was real magic in the air with Matthews getting his 50th goal in Arizona after having the guys over to his house and playing his golf simulator. Like, how cool was that? And you have to remind yourself that Austin Matthews, with 52 goals now in 55 games, is only 26.
God, it's so stupid.
I'm glad that he got it fairly early because early on you could see Mitch Marner just every time he gets the puck. I gotta find Austin. Where is he? I'm not gonna do anything offensively unless I find Austin. And it was worrying me a little.
That.
Yeah.
But they
hate when he does that.
They did it and it worked and he got the goal. I was like, okay, now we can start playing hockey.
I love when Mitch makes 30 passes in a row and then someone on the team on the bench goes, if you shoot it, no one's going to know it's coming. And then he scores in like 5 straight games.
Yeah. Everybody. I don't think there's been a complaint about anybody in the top 6 right now with this current lineup.
Not recently.
Mitch Marner's been fabulous with what he's doing.
Yeah,
Lion.
He has, and it was great to see them to win that game. And your goaltending crush, Karel Vejmelka, did not bring his A game.
Boy, well, I have eyes for another, and it's Connor Ingram. And then Vejmelka came back into the net, and that is not the Karel I remember.
No,
that is not Karel the Threll.
And then before last night's game, it was announced that Mark Stone, who was going to be out anyway, will now be placed on LTIR, and Twitter just about erupted about the fact that we got Jack Eichel on LTIR, we got Mark Stone on LTIR. The Vegas Golden Knights are going into the trade deadline with $18 million on
Jack
LTIR.
Eichel's coming back in like their next road trip they announced.
Yes.
Like it's you guys.
He's probably going to
chill.
play against the Leafs in less than a week.
Yeah.
Also, it's the rules, so eat shit.
And
I'm sorry. That's
I think
the
I've
rule.
said this like multiple times throughout every time this comes up, but the NHL doesn't like this shit, and they do their due diligence on their end to make sure that these guys are actually injured. They're not just getting away with it.
Did you notice that Mark Stone's injury was actually released because of the amount of out? Because he has a lacerated spleen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guy's spleen is fucked.
We know someone who that actually happened to.
We do?
A friend of ours we went to high school with. It basically kind of stopped their hockey career.
Oh.
I believe they played AA.
Yikes.
Yeah, dude.
know that.
It's no joke. It's no joke.
How do you get a lacerated spleen, though? I just wonder.
I think you get hit really hard in the spleen.
Yeah, that's rough. So by the way, Mark Stone is not the type of guy to fake an injury either.
No.
I don't know if
he's been through everything to just play hockey right now.
Yeah.
You think this is gonna take him out if he didn't have to?
In his 30s with a team that could win the cup again this year. Yeah, I don't think he's going to sit out because he wants that little cap circumvention. I just don't think so.
Also, I mean, yes, the Leafs won up 4-0 and won 7-3 over the defending Cup champs. Until you look at the roster.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I mean,
no.
I felt really good about it.
I am not letting the facts get in the way of a good story.
I 100%.
The reality is the Leafs.
I 100% agree.
The Leafs had to play the team that they played, and what do we always say? Oh, injuries, boo-hoo, man.
What?
You got to.
They don't reschedule the games.
That's right. And Vegas lost, and Toronto won. So let's talk about it.
Before the game, I checked. I was on the BetMGM app, and I checked. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the anytime goal prop for Byron Freys because it's gonna happen.
Oh, should have done Michael Amadio.
I should have done Michael, but it wasn't even offered because of how like their lineup was so like changing at every moment, and you didn't know who was gonna play on the depth forwards. So like the bottom guys like Amadio and Freys, who aren't regularly in the lineup, weren't on there, so I couldn't take it.
Amadio's a regular.
Amadio's pretty regular.
Freys is mostly a Silver Knight, and no one believes me that their minor league team is called the Silver Knights.
What do you mean?
What do you mean nobody believes you?
Because it sounds silly.
I like it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds silly.
Their ECHL team should be the Bronze Knights.
Oh my God.
Bronze Age Knights. It would actually work historically.
Oh my God.
You see what I'm saying?
That's kinda fun.
Bill Foley, call me. Branding expert. 3 Leaf centers scored. against Vegas before Austin Matthews did.
Oh, wow. Great stat.
Cool, huh?
Good pull.
Yeah.
Is that one of yours?
I don't. Well, I looked at it this morning, but yeah, I think so. But I'm sure somebody else said it. Like, I'm not
that's
going to be
yours.
that guy. Who's
That's
like,
a good
yeah,
pull.
that was all me. Yeah,
That's
fuck,
a
I'm
good
not going to be that guy.
Good pull.
But the first goal is the one I want to talk about. It's the
McCabe.
It's the McCabe goal.
Yes.
But what happens for McCabe to get the puck? What line is out there?
It's I actually don't.
Tavares, McMahon, Robertson, causing a turnover because Vegas was going to get the puck because they'd taken it from the Leafs. They caused the turnover. It goes to McCabe. He wires it home. By the way, I just fucking love Jake McCabe.
Dude.
So much.
I mean,
I love him.
he's played a little bit more consistently this season, so he's not getting the same flowers that Brody and Liljegren have gotten over the last week, which is fine. Those two deserve it. McCabe has been a huge leader on this team. And
Where
that
are the
was a
Leafs
hell of
without
a-
that Jake McCabe trade?
Oh, hell of a parting gift from Kyle. He tried to make it better with Lafferty. And we said, no, we don't want that gift. But it's, man, where would they be without that human being?
So great goal from him, and sadly unassisted, but Tavares was a big part of that turnover, and I think McMahon was too. Kampf, Tavares, Domi are the goal scorers. Now, I want to tell you something. When Max Domi scored, I was like, tomorrow's going to be fun.
How good you feel?
It feels so good.
How good?
I've been saying this, guys. I think I don't really care about what lines are labeled. Like, obviously, whatever line Austin Matthews is on is the number one line, right? Don't really care what you call line 2 or 3, but those middle 6 lines, how they look right now, that is awesome. And seeing Domi score from who? Nylander and Bertuzzi.
Adam, you are the two best things that there is to be as a sports fan.
What's that?
The fan of a team that just won last night, and more importantly, right.
Thank you.
Because you've been beating the Domi drum.
Dude.
You've been beating the Domi drum.
I watched Dallas playoff games last year because I wanted to see
Dude, he was sick.
Jesse's things with, because Jesse loves Ottinger, and I wanted to watch Ottinger play, and I was like, okay. And Domi was sick in the playoffs. This guy's sick. He's really good.
13 points in 19 games with the Stars. I give a playmaker guys who can score.
Crazy.
Weird, eh?
What a weird concept.
I know.
Now, William Karlsson opens up the scoring within the first minute of the first or second period because it's the first minute of a period, and the Leafs still do that a lot.
Adam, how dare you?
But Max Domi...
You just glossed over
What?
a huge milestone from the first period.
What is it?
I hope someone saved the puck. Ryan Reeves' first assist as a Leaf.
Actually?
Yes.
Oh, on the David Kampf goal.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was
No
his first
way.
I don't
assist.
know if the puck actually touched his stick.
Yeah, no, he definitely got an assist.
No,
got
he
an
did.
assist.
That was his first one. Wow.
Wow. Sorry, Steve. I missed that one.
Screw all y'all. How dare you?
And I want to say that this was really the depth scoring coming out party for the Leafs. And I do hope that this continues because otherwise it's a pretty short party.
Dude, this whole week.
Kampf, Domi, Holmberg were...
That was fucking nasty.
Yeah.
The only forward to finish the night without a point is Matthew Nice. Every other forward in the entire group had a point except for Matthew Nice.
They should have given him one.
I know, right?
Yeah. Should have given him an assist on the Holmberg goal.
Yeah.
Even though it was a total turnover. By the way, that Holmberg goal was amazing. That he causes the neutral zone turnover, and this is goal number 5, I think. Number 6, excuse me. He causes the neutral zone turnover, and this is what makes, when you see Pontus Holmberg, you see what the Leafs see in him when he does stuff like this.
He's not a bad player.
No, he's got, and what's interesting is if he can work on his takeaway game, like, because his takeaway game's pretty good.
2 hands on the stick game.
Yeah, he does a little the one handed a little too much. That was a great goal.
Yeah, a little fake too.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do something else there, and he just takes the shot. It was nice.
Marchessault absolutely thought he was going to drop the puck to Reeves, and man, I think Logan Thompson's a really good goalie. He was lost out there
Because
on
it was
that
a
goal.
nice play.
Yeah, it was a nice
Don't
play.
knock the goalie.
No,
Stop it.
I mean he. It was not
You
good.
know it's a good goal when you get Mike Johnston going, oh!
He has so much fun.
Yeah.
He has so much fun.
That's what you want out of your broadcaster, when you can hear them just enjoying watching the game and the excitement on the ice. Like, they're phenomenal.
Most underrated call from last night, and I'm so mad he didn't score because it would have been the best call of the season. When Reeves had a lane and he goes, go to the net! And then he did!
They didn't score,
But like, dude, you're sitting like, on one hand, it's tremendous broadcasting. On the other hand, you're between the benches.
he wasn't between the benches
he
last
wasn't?
night. No, they had him up. Well, it's like they're low.
Yeah.
Because the arena is the
Yeah.
size of this room. But so that he wasn't between the. I don't know if there's room between the benches in Mullett, to be honest.
Because I was just picturing him standing between the benches going, go to the net!
Yeah.
Because if I was on the Coyotes, I'd be like, shut up!
Apparently, Sheldon, you could hear Sheldon Keefe screaming at the ref throughout the arena.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
heard what he said at Mullett.
Oh, you can hear everything on the broadcast.
Yeah, you coming through the TV, you hear all those F-bombs that were dropped. It was
All of them.
It was crazy last
Watch what
night.
you say at
Wait,
Mullett.
need a what are they? The broadcast dump where they have 7 seconds. It sounds gross, but it brought a dump. A dump button is when somebody swears and you're on a 7-second delay and you dump and go
Yes.
7 seconds forward and
Nah, we don't need that. We need the swear.
No, we need the swears. Matthews is now the first Leaf because he got another goal. Now the first Leaf to score 10 goals in a 5-game span since who and when?
10 goals in a 5-game span. JVR had some crazy streaks for the Leafs. I'll say JVR. 2018.
I think they had this on the broadcast as Rick 5, right?
Rick 5? Yeah. What year?
Oh,
1980.
before.
Just guess.
Before the
Before
after
we were
the
born.
World War II.
No.
1989.
No, we're right in the middle. No, 82, 83.
That's like the most high scoring year ever. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. Still, it's pretty amazing. I think awesome to watch history happen. We're watching it happen right now. There is a player on the Toronto Maple Leafs with 52 goals in 55 games. Guys,
So preposterous.
do you know how long it had been before Austin Matthews dropped his first 50 goals on us? Right? And I think that was a 60. No, what was it? A 50?
I don't
Did he
think
go straight to 60?
I don't think he's ever had a goal total in the 50s.
Okay, so he's never had a 50 goal season.
It's like bunch
As
of
Jesse
40s,
would
bunch
say.
of 40s, the 60.
Yeah.
He scored at a 50 goal pace several times, but because of COVID, he never
And injuries
actually
and
got
shit,
there.
yeah.
It's 40, 34, 37, 47, 41, 60, 40, 52.
Wow. Okay, so
Goofy.
this guy's got basically a goal a game. We haven't seen a pace like this in
Mario.
in years. Since Super Mario.
yeah.
Did you guys know that Austin Matthews is in the top 10 in goals scored since 2010?
Yeah. And
What?
he's played 300 less games. Yeah.
His debut was 2016.
And he's about to pass. I forget who's on that
forget
list, but
it, yeah.
he's about to hop the net. He's one goal behind the next person. I think he's like 8, and he's about to hop into 7. John Tavares is on that list. He's going to pass him eventually.
What?
Yeah. It's insane.
Shit.
It's a crazy name. It's crazy that he shows up 6 years late to the party.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
It's goofy.
Yeah. So, and obviously great to see Riley back paired with Lagesson. We'll see how that goes. But what I want to give Sheldon Keefe credit for, because I feel like sometimes he doesn't do this. He'll go right back to, like, whenever Justin Hall was out, we're like, let's see something else.
Little bit of reprieve.
Yeah, and then you'd see him do something like, wow, Sheldon, that really works. And then Justin Hall comes back. It's like, no, right back to where we were, right? He held Timothy Liljegren and TJ Brody together. He kept Benoit McCabe. You can't split up Benoit McCabe at this point. And he said, okay, you know what? We're going to do best defenseman with our 7th defenseman, who we thought was our 7th defenseman, who's probably our 6th.
Yeah, like,
And it worked.
dude, listen, there were moments. Let's be honest. It was great that Lagesson was with Riley on his birthday and everything. There were moments where Keefe could have gone, all right, that's enough. There were definitely moments, especially when, they get 2 goals in 26 seconds. But he didn't do it. He didn't do it. I really do. People always ask me, like, what should the Leafs do? What are you hearing? I have one request for the trade deadline.
What's the request?
Get Riley a partner.
Well, so
That's it.
this was going to be...
So you don't like Lagesson as his partner?
Not long term, no.
Okay. Even though it was his birthday, you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The next game is not his birthday.
Okay.
And no.
That was consequential. That's why you brought it up, right?
Because it's nice.
What if
it's
he
a
needs-
nice thing.
What if he needs 3 to 5 games to get acclimatized?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Lagesson has had the easiest road here.
He hasn't played hockey. Like, he's played hockey on and off for like 3 months.
I didn't say it's
Give
an
him a run.
emergency.
He said it was his birthday, and that's the only reason he got to play.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I
I
said.
think that's your quote.
Listen,
Jesse,
when's Max Lajoie and Marshall Raffai's birthday?
When William
I don't think
Lagesson
they're going to get the spot.
wins the Conn Smythe, can you remind Steve of this?
When Steve said that he only got to see the ice because it was his birthday.
Oh, he got
That's
the Conn
for
Smythe. Was
Tuesdays
it his
to lose.
birthday?
I did not say
Did they
that.
give him the trophy because it's his birthday today?
You're going to send this clip to Alan.
I am.
Make my life difficult. How dare you?
No, but so it seems to clear things up a little bit for the Leafs for the trade deadline, because if you keep, this is what they've been searching for. Balance within lines and lines that are producing. If the forward group continues this way, yes, I know we've talked about centers and stuff like that. If Max Domi plays like this, I don't think you need to spend resources on a center. I just don't.
No. No, and like you have other guys in the lineup who can play center more
Yes.
than admirably. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
In a pinch, and it's the playoffs, so you just do whatever. So here's what clears it up for me, because going into this Morgan Riley suspension, the Leafs were ho-hum. Okay, they were among the NHL's best, but by their standards, by a team that thinks it's going to contend for the cup, ho-hum. And we thought at least one major defenseman, maybe 1.5, as in like somebody to come in and be a depth piece. Now I'm looking at it much differently. I don't know if you want Max Lajoie or Marshall Refi playing in the playoffs, but if you have to, you have to.
Yeah, if
Kimmo Timonen played 4 minutes a night for the Blackhawks and they still won the cup. It's fine.
If guys get hurt, guys get hurt.
But it really seems like the thing that's missing is somebody playing with Morgan Riley.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be a major piece. And if they are going to make a move, has this not just solidified, here's what it's got to be, go get the defenseman, stop talking about it and do it?
Right-handed.
Right-handed.
Please right-handed. Oh, well, this guy plays that. That's not what I fucking asked for. I asked for a right-handed defenseman. Especially with the future of Connor Timmins not looking all that, like, Mono's a weird one. I don't know when he's going to be able to get back in the lineup. I also would never, ever in a million years play him with Morgan Riley. So that's all I really want. Like, Benoit and McCabe, I trust them as a pair. That'd be a great third pair. Holy shit. Brody and Liljegren, I want to see where this goes. And, dude, like, forget the pairs and exactly who plays with who. Does Brody not look so much more comfortable on the left?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so keep that. It's obvious what they need.
So the name that keeps getting thrown out there, and I think CJ Show, we're talking about it, linked to Tampa, was Noah Hannafin. He shoots left. You know who doesn't?
Who?
Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah, man. That's
And that name is coming out.
I've really liked him for a long time. I just didn't really bring his name up because why would the Flames trade that player?
I don't think Craig Conroy knows what he's doing.
What
is the like?
You mean Murray Edwards knows what he's doing?
Oh, I don't know who's pulling the strings, but I got to blame the general manager, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
But I guess the owner too. But like the idea that they've been trying to re-sign Hannafin, ridiculous. The idea that you're gonna trade Rasmus Anderson, ridiculous.
I think it's actually very obvious what they're doing. They're selling. The Flames are selling, and it's an absolute fire sale. And they keep seeding throughout the hockey world that we'll think about it. We don't know what we are. Like, what was the article uploaded today? It was Eric Francis.
You tell me.
Eric Francis talking about Jake Markstrom, and now's not the time. Now is absolutely the fucking time. He's playing incredible hockey. Sell high. That's how this works. Right? And Tanev, we're going to trade Tanev. We're going to trade Tanev. Just when everyone wanted Tanev, no, I don't think we're going to do that. And Hannafin, and he's going to, no. And Lindholm, we're working on an extension, and okay, tell you what. You go ahead.
You're choosing to believe that they're smarter than what's coming out. that the leaks that are coming out, what the reporters are reporting, isn't necessarily true, and those are only coming out because they have a grander plan. I'm choosing to believe that what the reporters are reporting is generally in line with what they're thinking, and I think they're being really wishy-washy about a situation where they should be selling.
Well, and
I
hope
that's not what they're doing for Flames fans' sake.
I think I keep jokingly saying, but it's actually not serious, but it's a thing that keeps happening, is that every time headlines comes on Hockey Night in Canada, Friedge is like, well, here we go with the Flames again. And he said last Saturday, he's like, he must be listening to the show or something. Because he's like,
he didn't want to do this.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't want to start with the Flames, but here we go.
Yeah.
And it's because the Flames are going to say this, right? And it makes sense that you do this. I don't fault them for this. They're going to say, guys, we're not trading anybody. We like what we have. Why? Because if you put up, hey, garage sale, what do you buy at garage sale? Bargain shit, right? You buy bargain basement shit, right? And we'll talk about the Penguins in a second because they're in this too. No, like the bargain basement prices, not shit. These are good players. What I'm trying to tell you is that
what a way
I
to
think,
put it.
why would, Craig Anderson, or there's a reason Craig Conroy is constantly, and the Flames constantly in the news, and that's because everybody knows where this is going. Now, Eric France is saying that this is not the time to sell on Markstrom because the season will be over. Well, yeah, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
Trade someone at the height of their value.
Here's what
What's
you do.
Going on?
Hang on to Markstrom till he plays like he did last year.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And then you have to retain on him.
Yeah, dude.
Are you kidding?
I do not understand.
Now, it doesn't have to be at the deadline, but it will have to be in July. He's had a great year. That's a guy you sell high on. You can turn this around quickly. You've got goaltending depth in the system. You'll be okay. I think that the Flames are coming out there and going, we got to protect the value of these players, but they need to get great value back. And by the way, they did. I think the way that they handled the Lindholm trade from Vancouver, what a spectacular haul for the Flames.
Great trade.
Well, and consider this. With another big win, Nazem Kadri, OT winner, they're 3 points out of a playoff spot.
Who cares?
You don't care?
No, because this is, guys, do we really think, and I'll eat my words if they do. I really will. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the Flames are they get to the playoffs? Are they getting through the Avalanche? They getting through Dallas? They getting through Vegas? They getting
really
through
weird.
Edmonton? If Vancouver
None of the
plays,
other teams you just mentioned, no.
If Vancouver plays like this in the playoffs, yeah, maybe Calgary gets through them on a wink and a prayer. But honestly, the way Vancouver stinks in the last 4 games, but they're amazing this year.
Okay.
All I'm saying is Vancouver probably kicks at Calgary's ass too. So what are you doing? You're getting in for 2 games of $2 million in gate, which obviously I love. I know Murray Edwards loves that, but he's a billionaire. Remember, a billionaire is a lot more than they don't care about $1 million as much as maybe they go deeper into the playoffs, new building, all that shit. You have to plan for this new building. You have to plan for a new era of the Calgary Flames. Take the next 18 months and do that. These players, your team isn't great.
Yeah.
But the players that you want to sell are playing well.
Yes, but Rasmus Andersson, everything you said is true, but Rasmus Andersson, I don't think should be included in that bunch. Like, I don't understand why he's on the same level of Chris Tanev, who's a UFA, and you need to sell high because he's never going to play for you again. Rasmus Andersson's under contract for 2 more years and is 27.
If I were to trade Anderson, it would be in the offseason. I wouldn't trade him now. That's if I'm the Flames. Now, Adam, though.
I also, by the way, I'm not bringing up Rasmus Andersson's name because I know anything. I just know people that do know some things, and his name is out there.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. That's why I don't understand what Craig Conroy is doing, because you hear on both sides that they're trying to re-sign Hanifin, but they're also trying to trade Anderson. Those two things don't align and make sense.
No. There's so much information out there with the Calgary Flames that you don't know what is information and disinformation.
Yes.
Every time I read about the Flames, I feel like I know less.
Mm-hmm. Because everything is conflicting.
Yes.
Maybe that's the point.
Yes. This is what I've been saying for months. Now, wait, though. Who embarrassed the Flames last year? Last year. Not 2 years ago. Not in the playoffs.
The head coach?
The Florida Panthers.
Oh, I see what
they
you're saying.
made that
The
deal.
trade, yeah.
They go all the way to the Cup final, but they squeaked into the playoffs. It looks like, you know what that trade looked like for a little bit? You know, a sign of a good trade is both teams get better. Both teams got worse. Both teams got worse. Panthers went from President's Trophy to they barely squeak into the meh, and then they go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. If I'm the Flames, I'm like, you know what? Why not us? The Flames right now are roughly where the Florida Panthers were this time last year. I think the Flames look at that, and I think they've had plenty of moments to ask themselves, did the Panthers kill us in this deal? And I think in a lot of those moments, they told themselves no. We got Huberdeau, who hasn't lived up to his potential, but he's been steadily making progress. And we got Mackenzie Weegar, who's been an absolutely stellar defenseman. And like his performance this season is probably underrated because of the team that he's on. Guys, what has he got? 13 goals? That's stupid. You got a hat trick the other night. If I'm the Flames and my goalie's this shit hot, and some of the teams at the top of the West are this vulnerable, like I'm within 3 points. Vegas has a bunch of injuries.
It's February.
Vegas has a bunch of
It's February. This is where
Vegas
we'll talk
has
about
a
this when it
bunch of
comes to the
injuries.
Canucks. They're not vulnerable.
The Canucks, the coach sure seems to be talking about them like they're vulnerable.
Of course, he's trying to get his guys going.
This is the argument against a fire sale. Is all I'm saying.
I mean,
Boy, you're diluting. I think that's total self-delusion.
That's awful because I'm going to tell you something, Steve.
By the way, Steve, you're awful. I know. I just want you to know it's personal.
This year, right now, currently.
Sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
Right now, currently, the Calgary Flames sit 3 points out of a playoff spot, right? But they're 3 points out of the playoff spot with two teams in between them, Seattle and Nashville. Last year, on February 23rd, 2023, the Calgary Flames were 4 points out of a playoff spot.
Wow.
And less teams in between them. The only one in between them was the Seattle Kraken. So you could say they were in the exact same position, 1 point off, except with less teams in between them last season at the exact same date. And that line of thinking that you had last year would have gotten you to a place where you missed the playoffs.
So I forgot my glasses, so I don't know where they are. Does it say what their last 10 is on that chart?
Of when?
Like leading up to that point in the season?
Last year?
Yeah.
I could dig it up, but I don't have it right in front of me.
'Cause if I remember correctly, remember there was that Peltier thing where Daryl Sutter was like, I don't know who this freaking kid is. What's his number?
Oh, yeah, I did remember that.
And then they immediately fell in the shitter. And they started, like, they were in a decent position to go for a run at a playoff spot. And then they completely fell off a cliff. They're playing well. That's the big difference between this year and last year. They're playing well right now. And this is when you want to play well. Listen, if they wanted to be sellers, they could sit on top of an iron throne made of nothing but draft picks and prospects.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what they
I don't think they're going to totally sell. I don't think they're totally going to knock it down, tear it apart, whatever. You have to sell Tanev. Hanifin's not going to re-sign. He's not. Hanifin is not going to re-sign.
No, I'm just with Tanev. Oh, boy. If you think you're capable of heading to the playoffs, you keep that player.
Oh, so gross. No way.
Well, you look at it, okay, we can go for a playoff spot or we can get what we're going to get for Tanev. What are they going to get for him? Everyone's coming up with these goofy figures because the Jets got gave up a first for Monahan. Tanev's 34 and always hurt.
But not recently. He's been playing full season
And, like,
recently.
Dude, yeah, but he's been
The
playing
cost is
hurt.
the cost is whatever somebody's willing to pay. And like if there's dumb general managers, and if you don't think he's worth a first round pick,
He is.
One of them might be because that's just what they're willing to pay for him.
And I know some of you were screaming at your phone or whatever you're listening to this on right now. Steve, did you just say he's always hurt and not refer to Sean Monahan? Fair point. Fair point.
The Flames are also 6-7 in their last 13. So they're below 500.
In their last 13.
Yeah.
What are they in their last 6 or 7?
They went on they had a 4-game winning streak and then a 3-game losing streak, and then now they've won 2 in a row. So that's the 6 and 3.
Yeah, we were talking to Julian McKenzie about this in the CJ Show group chat this morning. Like the Flames.
This is not a
Like, I don't know why. I don't understand.
They're so mid.
The argument for trying to make a run at this.
You know what?
By the way, I am not saying this is what I would do or this is what I think is a good idea. This is what I'm saying the Flames might be thinking.
Well, I mean, listen, the record is good enough to see you two. And the fact that they beat Boston last night, I would send them to this.
That 3-game losing, the one where they lost to the Sharks the other day,
that's
where
bad.
it was 6-3 to the Sharks. That's the one where Barry Trotz comes in and he says, "I'm taking away your Coldplay tickets."
I watched the Red Wings game after that, and I was like,
Yeah, the
messaging
5-0 loss to the Red Wings?
This was
They lost-
terrible.
They lost 6-3 to the Sharks and then followed it up with a 5-0 loss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
to Detroit.
Yeah.
It's
Who's good?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
This is why you can't live and die by every game.
Yes, you can. I'm a fan.
management.
Yes, you can.
No. As a fan, yes. Management, you can't, because you lose 5-0 after losing 6-3 to the Sharks. That's the drop dead moment you sell. I don't care what your record is.
If you're
after
decisive,
that.
it is.
Yeah, that is the
It's-
drop dead. All right, we're actually not that good. Goodbye. And that's when you just
Here, Jesse,
wash your hands.
Jesse, Matty, can we bring that chart back up, please?
Their game log, yeah.
Game log, yeah. Here's the thing: if you're indecisive, you go, yeah, but we beat the Jets and then we beat the Bruins.
If you just take a look at where the way their season's gone, they have a couple games where they win, and they have a couple games where they lose. They're fucking mid.
Yeah,
I know,
they are.
but then
How long do
then
you want to be mid for?
You
That's the
follow
question.
up that miserable streak with a win against the Jets, which is always good, and a win over the Bruins, who were on the second half of a back-to-back in overtime. Oh, boy.
I also
think
want to
there's-
ask you this:
I think there's a lot riding on Saturday night's game against Edmonton.
if it cut, oh, jeez.
Because, dude,
If that's what it takes, this is the game. It couldn't be the last 18 months of play or 2 years. You want to go all the way back to playing Edmonton in the second round that destroyed your franchise and 2 of your stars walked.
I hate
that.
myself.
If that's what it is,
I hate myself for falling right into the Flames trap.
you've fallen into the maw. You are within their teeth, sir.
Damn.
And I want to.
The Flames are doing a disservice to their overall franchise if they don't sell on their UFAs.
Yeah.
It's like Tanev's got to go. There's
Tanev-
no holding on to him. Hannafin's got to go.
Tanev, to me, is the free space. He's 34 in a UFA.
Markstrom, there is still time to do the deal.
Yes.
You can do it in the offseason if you like. Rasmus Andersson can be a part of their next regime. He can sit through this whole retool if you want him to. There's no reason to trade him. But there's 2 pieces right there that need to go out the door in the next by March 8th.
Here's why I think Rasmus Andersson could be traded. 27 years old. Doesn't fit the next window. Just throwing that out there.
His cap hit, you couldn't give me enough.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's
You
what I'm saying.
honestly couldn't give me-
That's why he will probably get you your next couple stars. A good pick and a good prospect. Absolutely. And probably a player off the roster right now. That's probably like if Lindholm got what he got.
Man, that really set the bar, didn't it?
Sure did.
It was
And
a pretty good trade for them.
that's what I'm saying is like this is an opportunity to like do this now and then you could be great with the new arena and everything.
No, Steve wants them to hold on to the Tanev.
Yeah, that's
No, I don't want them to hold on to Tanev.
Let's get to the playoffs and play 5 good games and then go home and golf. Like, cool.
Murray Edwards
I didn't
got
say they'd
$2
be
million. Like,
I didn't say they'd be good games.
$2 million per game.
I do imagine Murray Edwards in a room somewhere with one of those old bankers' visors on, like the green ones, going, this is great. We got $2 million more dollars.
Is that his accent?
No, it is now. This is
Talks
great.
like Liza Minnelli. what was that?
I hope he dances like Liza Minnelli and sings like her too.
I hope they don't believe that they're like, we got something here. It's contender.
Yeah. Hey, this episode is sponsored in part by BetterHelp, and let me tell you, it's the depths of winter, and it might be a sunny day outside here in Toronto, but I think there was from the start of winter here to midway through January, there were 30 hours of sunlight.
Wow.
What?
30
What?
hours of sunlight in Toronto.
Are you counting yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sunshiny every time I walk into the room.
Oh.
And that's because I've had therapy. Lots and lots of therapy. And BetterHelp is a great way to do that. You can be matched with somebody in like 24 to 48 hours. If you don't vibe with them, that's totally fine because you got to have chemistry with therapy. I have actually in the past had to switch therapists because we just weren't clicking. And the next person I switched to was absolutely perfect. And
roll
sometimes
off
it
of
takes a
each other.
couple.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's not personal. It's just something you got to do. The other thing that I think is great with BetterHelp is A, you get it done quick. B, you can do it in a mode that works for you. When, traditional therapy used to be, you had to go into the office. Back in the 70s, they all laid on couches. I never went to a therapist's office that had that nice couch to lay on.
No.
So
I was very disappointed the first time I went. I was like, where's my couch?
But what about this? Laying on your own couch, doing it over the phone, doing it on video chat, doing it on just text chat. You can do it any way you want through BetterHelp. And we want you to sign up and get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/SDP. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. Jesse, Steve, what would you say about Liquid IV?
It tastes magical and wonderful, and it's great for on some days where I just don't even feel all that good. Like I'm not sick or tired or whatever.
You're just feeling blah.
I just feel bleh. Throw a little Liquid IV in there. Put it in a little bit of water. Stir it up. I like to pour a little bit in, drink some, add more water, add a little bit more Liquid IV because it makes me feel like a scientist, and then I feel better.
Jesse,
in no time.
We were going to ask you how you felt about it, but we don't have time. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I use it more for recovery because it's rapid hydration. I like to use it after I exercise. Like that's where I find it the best. And the lemon lime flavor is my favorite.
It is a 3 times the electrolytes of your leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. Non-sugar-free product only. Liquid IV hydrates faster than water alone. It's all in one stick. No GMO and free from any gluten, dairy, or soy. For daily use before a workout, when you feel run down, when you're feeling blah, or maybe after a long night out or a long flight. I know Tim Houraney just flew to Bahrain, and one of the things he took with,
Hey,
there you go.
Very smart.
Weekends are for going wild. Monday is for Liquid IV. Grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplier, sugar-free in bulk, nationwide at Costco, or 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code DANGLE. That's spelled DANGLE. That's DANGLE at liquidiv.com. 20% off your first order when you shop Superior Hydration today. Promo code DANGLE, liquidiv.com.
Great job, buddy.
Well, okay, I want to bring it back to the Leafs for a second because we were talking about the Leafs at the trade deadline. You know what bothers me about where they're at with Morgan Rielly?
Alberta Central show. Sorry, what?
What bothers me about where the Leafs are at with Morgan Rielly and finding a defense partner is if you had just, and it seemed high, and it is, you know who played really well with Morgan Rielly?
Who?
Luke Shen.
Yeah.
And Luke Shen costs less than Klingberg.
Oh, that
Now,
hurt. That hurt. I wish you
Nashville for sure overpaid on Luke Shen, and you could see why they did. Luke Shen rules.
He rules.
And he's done a great job with them. And of course, and they had the cap space. Go ahead and do it. Is
bought
Luke
the
Shen's
whole-
market value 3 point whatever he's making? No.
275.
2.7. Oh my God, he's half of John Klingberg.
Yeah, but at the time we would have all been like
scoffed.
3 years, 2.75.
Damn, he got 3 years?
for Luke Shen. Like no way
But
you
he's
could do that.
He's a great teammate. Did you hear what he did for all his Preds teammates?
What did he do?
He bought them all VR headsets, and so that they could go to the concert at the Sphere.
Oh, shut up.
They all went to a virtual YouTube concert, and they're like, "This is crazy." It's not fair.
Now, word on the street is Pittsburgh is ready to sell. I mentioned this a little bit at the end of last episode. Kyle Dubas finally traded Nylander, something he said he'd never do, which is great. The Blue Jackets have Alex Nylander now. And this might be the start of the fire sale, but that is such a Dubas trade. Like,
Dude,
you got
that's exactly what was tweeted at me yesterday.
Emil
That's such a
Bemstrom.
Dubas trade.
Man, I want Emil Bemstrom. I need him.
Like,
Need him on my team.
when someone oh man, who was it? Anthony Petrelli, I think. They tweeted, they're like, "Oh yeah, Dubas has loved Emil Bemstrom since his draft year," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course he has." Like
He does fall in love with, like, it's like Charlie Brown and that ugly Christmas tree. Like, there's some things where you're like, I see potential here.
I never thought it was such a bad little tree.
Yeah.
Maybe all it needed was a little love. Bemstrom's a funny player. He was really highly touted at one point, made too much money, kind of fell off a cliff. I don't remember if injuries were involved or anything. And now he's making $900,000. And this is exactly the kind of tinker around the edges deal that he would make all the time in Toronto, and we'd be like, maybe this is something. Maybe this is something big.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what an unbelievably disproportionate amount of energy we gave to a trade that involved two players, and the two players were Per Lindholm and Nick Petan? We went to war over that damn trade. I'm pretty sure it helped fracture Dubas's relationship with Mike Babcock, because he would like put Petan in shitty situations like to spite management.
Yeah, and then Petan got him fired.
Thank goodness. Good. I'm glad. That was the best thing he ever did for this team.
Yep.
Thanks there, Nick. But he does these trades where you're like, yeah, they could be something. They could be a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they so rarely added up to anything worth getting excited about. Mason Marchment for Dennis Malgin. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
and Mason Marchment turned into a pretty good player, and
just dicking around the edges. Like he had victories too. Like, listen, there are
tons of them.
There are parts of this team that the Leafs have Kyle Dubas to thank for.
Jake McCabe.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and even like, a Bobby McMahon. That was a really smart deal in the minors. But you got to take so many swings to come up with anything that's going to have any sort of impact on your roster.
Well, and isn't it funny that we always had a thing. What did you always say about Kyle Dubas last year?
Loves his guys,
right? I think Kyle Dubas loves his core fours and loves cap problems. Because he has gone from one team with a core four to a team with a full decade older core four. And it is a core four. He talked about that in the press conference. He said, we're not going to move on. He had a press conference from Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Karlsson. He's not going to move on.
So many fewer press conferences. However many he has, he should have less.
And listen, I don't, it's not over yet. Mm-hmm. But right now, nobody has mentioned this yet. Nobody wants to talk about this yet because this player is a legend and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But as far as fit with the team goes, that Karlsson trade could end up being a disaster. Because it's one of those things
How
where...
are you getting younger after making that deal?
It's a top 10 protected first rounder that went to San Jose, right? Mm-hmm. So if they are in the bottom 10 in the league this year, they're going to be fine and they'll get their first round pick, but then have to give up next year. But when you look at, let me read you this. He said, are there moves out there that would allow us to add younger players to the organization that can help expedite things and support the group we already have here? We're trying to look through all of that. If there are scenarios where we can move out some of our younger prospects for players that are a bit older and closer to ready, we would look at that.
Younger prospects?
So this is what I'm saying.
Who?
Well, so he's gone out and he got Puljujarvi. He got Nylander and traded Nylander. Like, he's trying to find...
Nylander's like 39.
And then he says...
He's been in the league forever.
No, but he's in his 20s.
No, I know. I'm fine.
Younger by the... grading on a curve here for the Penguins. New energy. That's really what we need. Kyle, who did you bring in this offseason? You got Graves. You got Achari. You got Karlsson. Mm-hmm. You got tons of new energy.
34-year-old, I think, Riley Smith.
Who, unfortunately hasn't worked out. He'll be a great add to whatever team picks him up.
Vegas.
In a deal.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Send him back.
Do it. Do the right thing.
That might actually happen.
You know what? Because Dubas will do right by the player.
Oh,
No. Oh, Pittsburgh. Like, dude. Okay, you go out and you get Karlsson. Like, what did we say when it happened?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, all right, well, you're certainly committed to going for it now. Mm-hmm. And then you're not even a full season after that deal. And you're like, we're going to try to get younger. If you hadn't just got here, that's the kind of quote that gets guys fired or gets fans asking for it at very least. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he's going to inevitably do a good job with the Penguins. Mm-hmm. But I cannot believe a dude who came up under the direction of Lou Lamoriello.
The tutelage
of Lou Lamoriello.
Always uncomfortable with that word.
I'll toot on your tutelage. I cannot
toot
believe,
on your lidge. What you're looking for.
Yeah.
There you go.
I cannot believe a guy who came up under the tutelage of Lou Lamoriello stuffs his foot in his mouth down to the molars this often. Kyle, stop!
Can we make you more upset, Steven? Do you want to get more upset?
Do it.
Because
Are you
Kyle-
bringing up the Coyote stuff? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. We should.
We should.
We will.
Oh,
we will. We
there.
will. We'll get
We'll
there.
get
We'll get
there.
there.
Because Kyle Dubas.
Matty put the thumbs up. She wants fire.
Kyle Dubas did your favorite thing.
What?
He spoke to the media. He talked to the Athletic. That's where some of these quotes
Yes.
come from.
Just
And-
has to stop.
And I want to give you this quote that was in the Athletic when he spoke to them. Kyle Dubas said, Dubas said his immediate plan for the Penguins is to the current group. He wants to give them a chance to improve their postseason standing. I think we've had enough moments throughout the season when we're at our best that we show we can play with anybody. It just hasn't happened enough, Dubas said. So we're looking for that in the next stretch here.
That's a big old nothing burger.
Can you go a little bit back, Jesse? Mm-hmm. Look at what Marcus Pettersson said.
Marcus Pettersson said he wanted Dubas to say he believes in us like we believe in ourselves.
And he shouldn't. Kyle shouldn't. That would be so disingenuous. Love you, Marcus Pettersson. Would love for you to be a Leaf. I hope they're selling you because if it doesn't work out with Anderson, I would really love Marcus Pettersson to be a Leaf. But it's great that you believe in yourself. That's awesome.
Why are you looking to make changes if the belief is in this group? I don't understand.
Well, the
group's good. Why are you making
He
changes?
shouldn't give quotes to the media.
He's got to stop.
The dissonance,
He's
though,
gotta stop.
is that he stacked the team. Like, you had an older core, you knew that. You had Letang, Malkin, Crosby, and you're committed to that. So what do? You go out and you add another bunch of olds. What most people would do is they would go, those guys are a little bit old. Probably should add some young.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't hate a lot of the moves he made. Ryan Graves was obviously...
I told you guys, Dale, that was a terrible deal.
Man,
Told you. I was like, who? What?
you were on that shit from day one.
I was on the Penguins stink from day one. This is not a well-constructed roster.
But, like, I love Achari. I
Me too.
liked the Riley Smith deal when they made it.
Of course. You can like certain players and go, that's not a fit.
Well, and then you're like, it's tough because that deal was made very shortly after Vegas won the Cup. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, Riley Smith is great, and he just won the Cup. And then you're like, oh, he's in his like mid-30s and just played hockey till the end of June. And that generally doesn't lead to good seasons the next year. You know what I mean? Unless you're like a super duper star. Mm-hmm. Ah, man. He wore the "we can and we will" phrase around his neck for half a decade, and he's making the same mistakes. Shut up.
And
Stop.
And so he's saying they need new energy in there. By the way, Sidney Crosby is having if he's not nominated for the Hart,
He won't be.
That's bullshit, by the way.
If they make the playoffs, he may. He
Not-
may.
No,
Who cares?
There's like nominated for the Hart in what order?
He's got to be top 3.
No, there's 3 guys ahead of him.
There's too many good players.
There's Matthews, Kucherov, McKinnon.
But it's
there's 3.
value to
Connor
the team.
McDavid is probably 4.
So here's what I would say to that. I would argue
for now.
that if the Pittsburgh
Yeah, for
Penguins
now.
didn't have Crosby having an otherworldly year this year, they would have sold already.
Oh, they'd be in the toilet.
In fact, Fenway Sports Group might be selling the franchise.
Yes,
So
but
bad.
there's 4 other guys who are more impactful to their team this season.
I think that's Poopy Kaka.
But
I will
arguing.
take
Like,
that.
You can
I
have
will-
that opinion, but
I believe.
He can be in the
See,
conversation.
it was the same argument I had in 2017 with McDavid. The Oilers didn't make the playoffs, but where the fuck would they have been without him?
I understand.
That's my
I
point.
understand the point Adam's making. I understand it.
yeah, but if you look at the numbers, like what Kucherov does is in comparison to his next closest teammate, I think he's 30 points ahead of Braden Point.
I mean,
He's second on his
the
team
Lightning.
scoring.
Wow, it's even in the name.
They would straight up not be in a playoff spot without.
No.
Exactly.
No.
What Nathan McKinnon is doing in terms of their one-line team, we keep emphasizing that,
Yep.
is very impressive to his team. Plus, those teams are winning. I think you have to take that into account. If Matthews puts up 75 goals, he should be ahead of Sidney Crosby in the Hart ballot.
and
I think
everybody else, by the way.
Artemi Panarin, what he's been contributing to the Rangers and dragging them throughout the season. No, now they're playing more as a team, so he's less valuable for the Hart. And then David Pastrnak, if you want to throw him in there, like I think there's
man.
like 6 guys here. Plus Sidney Crosby's probably in like 7. There's a lot of guys having impressive individual seasons.
But he's 36, and the Penguins are garbage if he's not in their lineup.
You know you're allowed to just say he's extremely good. He doesn't have to be nominated for anything.
No, he does. I believe that he does.
Yeah.
I believe that he
think
does.
Connor McDavid is ahead of him on the Hart ballot. I think Kucherov is. I think McKinnon is. I think Austin Matthews is.
I think the Hart ballot is aptly named because he has so much heart. I'm glad it's not the Jeffrey Award for the best,
Jeffrey.
most valuable to his team. The Jeffrey Award.
Most valuable Jeffrey.
HART. It was actually named after somebody. Weird. So I think if
Brett the Hitman.
if you're looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins, who I don't believe have outside of the top 10 protected, if that's not a part of it, if they end in the mid section of the league, they're not going to have a first rounder this year. So Gensel, if he's not hurt, and I've heard he's more hurt than they're letting on, if Gensel is, you don't know when Gensel's coming back, you don't know how good he's going to be, and you're hoping, and very, very likely he's trying to get an extension out of this, right?
Yeah.
So that's the guy that gets you the first round pick back. Who do you sell? You can't trade Graves.
So
you're not trading Jari.
Let me flag something as well. So that first round pick is top 10 protected. Well, what happens if it's top 10? You get to pick in the top 10 this year,
That's awesome.
right?
Except that you're bad enough
Except you still owe a pick
next year.
next year when there's a pretty good chance this gets worse. It better not get worse.
Yeah.
So you
because
go
your
for
first round pick's on the hook.
Yeah.
So you go for it this year.
Boy.
I also think they're going to be competitive. Like, I don't think, regardless of how much you trade, Dubas trades off this by March 8th, I still think they'll be hanging in there because their goaltending is good enough. And like, when you have decent goaltending, you can hang it around in the standings. I don't think they fall to top 10. That's a pretty drastic.
Well, it's a
fall.
lottery, right? Like,
Oh yeah, you could win a lottery ball, and then you're in the
Yeah.
top 10 randomly. Yeah,
it's you could win a lottery ball.
for them lose. Yeah,
You know,
I don't think it's that crazy, guys. There's 32 teams in the league, and the Penguins
that's so many teams.
currently sit 23rd.
Oh, that's not the catchphrase. Sorry. What?
The Penguins currently sit 23rd in the league out of 32.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not out of the realm.
Based on where they are right now, they would not. They would maintain their first round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
And I think, like you look at who's ahead of them, right? They're 7 points out. They have the Islanders, Devils, 7 points out. The Tampa Bay Lightning are the second wild card team.
Wow.
And they're 5 points up on the Washington Capitals. That's why when everybody was saying, "Oh, the Leafs are fighting for a wild card spot," I'm like, that is so disingenuous. Get out of here.
They were.
No, they
Then
weren't.
they won 6 straight.
No, they weren't. Go back and
They got
look.
12 of
go
12.
back and look at a week and a half ago. No, they weren't. They played 3 or 4 less games than the Lightning. Get out of here. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And they were up on the Caps and Devils. Anyway, long story short, Washington, New Jersey, and the New York Islanders are tied at 60 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins have 58. You know who's only 4 points behind the Pittsburgh Penguins and could catch them is the Buffalo Sabres. Guys, that's what we're talking about when we talk about a talent drop-off here. Okay, they're only 4 or 5 points out or whatever it is with whatever team we're talking about. Look at who they're next to.
By points percentage, I believe the Penguins and the Sabres are 6 places difference.
They are.
from each other. Yeah.
So
There's
They
a
are.
little gameplay differential
Fair,
there.
fair.
but
Fair.
I'd like to point something
made.
out.
Yeah.
I'd
You
like
got to
to-
win the games at hand, too.
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I'd like to point something out.
No.
This trade deadline is going to be boring because names and bleh. The trade deadline isn't just about names. It's about teams. It's about franchises. It's about futures, right? It's not just about this year. Like, we just duked it out over the Flames. We don't know what they're going to do. The Penguins, we don't know what they're going to do. Dude, it's in like 2 weeks or whatever it is. 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Parts of 3 weeks.
And we don't know who's selling it.
Yeah, and if
Nashville's like, we're still in this shit.
if all
Yeah.
those teams end up believing in themselves, it's going to make for a very boring trade deadline. But then we get to talk about them being ridiculous and believing in themselves, which is a fun conversation.
It'll make for a better offseason.
Sure, yeah, it will.
Because April,
No, it won't, because they'll believe in themselves in the offseason. That's when the delusion hits heights.
Every
yeah.
team is in line for the Stanley Cup
But
in
April
July.
17th, no, you forget about the early part of the offseason when there are people sitting there, not in a playoff spot, really, really mad about it, and then they do silly things.
They do.
Like
if you want to
fire
take
the
advantage, that's the
coach.
time to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But again,
that's
by
when you
August
put your
1st, the
phone-
Senators are winning the cup again, and we know. Like it's it's happening every August. It
Not
happens.
April. Not April. April and May is angry season.
Kyle
That's when
Dubas in
teams
his
get mad.
quotes to the media, since you brought up coaches, doubled down on his belief in Mike Sullivan, who's a very good coach, but he's very adamant that Mike Sullivan will be his coach moving forward.
I think Mike Sullivan's a good coach. I think that they've signed him so they don't have a choice but to make it work. Like they signed him to an extension 2 years before his contract ended. And Fenway, and it's like $5 million a year or something like that. Fenway's not going to let him sit on the sidelines unless they absolutely have to. And I think Crosby likes him. If Crosby likes him, he's here.
You either, what is it, die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain?
Well, how do you, if you're Fenway and you're Kyle Dubas and you're running this team, how do you say to Sidney Crosby, we're committed to you, we're committed to what you want to do here, okay? And they should be. No one's doubting, no one thinks that it was a flawed idea to try to give Crosby, Malkin, and Letang one last shot, or maybe two. It's flawed, but it's worth going for,
Maybe
right?
not all of them, but I guess they're kind of a package deal at this point.
It's worth going for,
Yeah.
right? The issue is that if Crosby likes that coach, how committed are you to that as well? And I think Crosby likes Sullivan, and they won cups together. How could he not? And they're saying, I mean, CJ was saying on the CJ show that like Mike Sullivan could coach Team USA.
Oh, CJ's fucking cooking.
Oh yeah,
He's cooking.
this is it's CJ season.
It is absolutely CJ season.
Man, that show is just
It's
bonkers. Some of the
really-
shit that
yeah.
he
really
does.
good.
Good stuff.
Really, really good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, there's so much going on, and I think Pittsburgh is such a fascinating story because they got old on purpose in a league that's extremely young, and then are now saying we got to get young.
I'm telling you, man, if he had just got here, we'd be like, what the hell is he doing? Or sorry, not just got here. If he had been here a while.
There's a reason he's got a 7-year deal, and CJ said that. He's like, we knew that this was a bit of a prayer, and he'll be the guy that does the rebuild.
It was pretty cool of Fenway to just whip that up.
What do you mean?
Oh, a 7-year deal just out of nowhere. On the off chance he became available.
Yeah, it's crazy that the thing I know about corporations is they usually have $50 million to give to one person overnight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take months of negotiation behind the scenes to put $50 million on the table in a corporate setting, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Hey, the Canucks have lost 4 games in a row, and personally, if you saw the Rick Tocchet quotes, you'd be like, wow, they're much worse. This is bad. This is terrible. He's so pissed.
no shows.
Here's what he said. Not much compete from the guys. That's on me. I didn't get them to compete hard enough. A lot of no-shows tonight. Mm-hmm. If these guys think playoff hockey is that, we're in trouble. Here's what this is, guys. Mm-hmm. The Vancouver Canucks have lost 4 games in a row, which in Toronto is an average February. It is.
They've raised the bar, man.
They're playing, and I like Tocchet for this, and I was critical of him being hired as a coach, but I've really liked him. The what's going on here is the Vancouver Canucks are going through the Februarys.
They're going through the February?
This happens to good teams all the time where it's like it's a grind, all-stars over, trade deadline's coming up. We're really good, so we're probably not, most of us are probably sticking around. And, just like any job, it can be monotonous.
I think there's probably 2 thought processes going on right now with Elias Lindholm. Mm-hmm. One, yes, he's a really good player, but you screwed up the team's chemistry by going out and getting him. Mm-hmm. Or 2, thank goodness they made the deal when they did.
Right.
Because a lot of teams are going to make deals on March 8th. And they're going to have 5 weeks of runway to get the team to gel. Mm-hmm. The Canucks, with the luxury of being really high up in the standings, and I obviously having the space to do it, they went out and they got their new second line center, and they have 3 months to get him acclimated in the lineup.
And it's tough to do, by the way.
I think this is breakage. I think this is the risk you take when you make a trade of this magnitude, and they knew that, and I don't think internally they're all that bothered.
They can't be. I know what Rick Tocchet.
Oh, they certainly can be.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're living and dying by every game, which you said management can't do, then they can't be.
I mean, he's also, who did they just name captain? Quinn Hughes.
Mm-hmm. Who is unbothered by anything. Even when he gets hit, he's got the same face.
He's also a child. It's a young guy. He's really headstrong. I don't worry about him. But like he's in his early 20s.
He'll be fine.
Like that's a coach. It takes more than one person, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a coach stepping up for his captain and for his team, and perhaps indicating to the media and the fan base that he is going to skate that team through the foundation of the building until they find dinosaur bones. I would love to see footage of that next Canucks practice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One person who it looks like is well off the. Oh, and just to your point off the top, Adam, you're right. You're so right about that. The Vancouver Canucks this year aren't the 22-23 Boston Bruins. They're not going to go win 800 games in the season, never take a night off ever. They're going to have a losing streak. It's fine.
They're young.
But one guy who is definitely off this team is Ilya Mikheyev, who hasn't scored since December 17th.
Oh.
Last night, he got one shift in the third period and played a total of 7 minutes.
Oh, I smell a trade to Pittsburgh.
How dare you, Adam?
Rick Tocchet does not like Mikheyev, and for good reason.
You know who does? The guy that signed him out of Russia.
Cal.
Cal.
Well, and I think Mikheyev likes Cal.
I think so too.
When
I liked Mikheyev a lot in Toronto. I thought he was actually pretty effective. He's not one of the cardio merchant class that
he absolutely was.
But remember he had that injury that.
So he had the wrist injury in New Jersey. Dubas stayed with him in New Jersey. Remember, while he was in hospital,
it was serious.
It was very serious. But man, he for so long. Like, listen, okay, there are reasons for why you can't score.
Yep.
We need someone to friggin' score. And it was, the Leafs could afford it when he wasn't making vital player money. He's making vital player money in Vancouver. And he's next up. Kuzmenko wasn't pulling his weight. I mean, Mikheyev does not make much less. I think, what's he making, 4 something?
Let me pull it up. I don't have it off the top of my head.
It's not a cheap contract.
Nope.
Ilya Mikheyev.
But like he earned it. He was scoring.
4.75 for 3 years. This year and then 2 more. This guy's
gotta
playing
score
7 minutes a night, and you can't put him out in the third period.
It's rough.
It's a disaster right now with Mikheyev.
I don't know if it's can't put him out because he was always a very defensively responsible player. Sure. I know he's had some injuries. Modified no trade clause. I'm
2
dying.
years at $5 million,
dude. Have a good contract here. That should be the lesson to all the good little boys and girls. Have a good contract here.
What is the
holy shit
12-team no trade limit?
Boy, he was so good towards the end of against the Leafs. I remember watching him against the Devils, not the cut game, where he took the puck and was like, "I am going to drive the net." And he, at that time, this is 2 years ago, it was the first Justin Bieber jersey game. I was there. I remember that. He was the only one on the team at the time who was driving the net. He actually went to the net with the puck.
He would have nights where someone very clearly said, "Hey, you know you're like 6'4", eh?" And like, he would just crash the net. Like, dude, you're one of the tallest players in the league. Well, not tallest players in the league. You're very tall. You're one of the fastest players in the league is what I meant to say. When he learned how to score, all those things are great, but if it doesn't add up to results, then who cares? When he learned how to score, he obviously became the kind of player that you offer nearly $5 million a year to. But to hear the Ilya Mikheyev I know is only playing 7 minutes and he hasn't scored in 2 months, that's actually really disappointing.
And he has 10 goals on the year. So from October to December 17th, he had 10 goals.
He was obviously good.
Since then, it's been just a whole bunch of bagels.
I want to say though, the frustration with Ilya Mikheyev. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan and you care enough, and you've got Amazon, go watch the Leafs documentary, because you'll see the frustrations that Keefe used to have with him, which I think are similar to what Tocchet had. And you see Keefe in between periods pull Mikheyev into the video office. Remember that scene?
Oh yeah.
They're like, "See what you're doing? Less of that,
or
more of this." Yeah,
dude. Like when he used to play with Engvall.
Oh, man.
Like just the potential line. Here's a bunch of big, fast as shit dudes.
Big for nothing.
Who can't crack an egg and can't shoot or won't or whatever the problem is. Dude, if I showed up to my first hockey game ever knowing nothing about the sport, I would see those two take the ice and be like, oh shit, that's got to be the best line they have, right?
They might kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
They might kill someone. They're head and shoulders taller than everyone else. They're clearly the fastest guys out there. Engvall's nickname was Seabiscuit.
Yeah,
The
no
Leafs
one's
called
ever
him
going to
Seabiscuit.
stop these guys, ever.
No.
Yeah.
And just
Why do they call him Seabiscuit? Because
he's Seabiscuit is the name of a racehorse.
he's fast.
Because he's very fast.
Right.
Should have been called the Peloton line.
Yeah, they were.
Dude.
Who was
dude,
with them?
Just
Who played with them?
who cares? I was probably Kerfoot.
Oh,
just
God. That
here's
sounds
the-
like a Kerfoot line.
Here is the all cardio line. And like,
I'm going
all
for
right,
a skate.
guys, here, you got to push. You got to, everything you got going on at work, you just let it go. Everything you got going on at school, shout out to everyone going through exam season right now. All right, let's.
We're going to climb that hill. We're going to climb that hill.
You're
2
going to
feet,
lower
2
the
feet.
resistance, increase the speed. Increase the speed. Lower the resistance, increase the speed. How many goals have we scored? Still 0? All right, increase the speed and rest. Dude, they would drive me up a fucking wall. So anyway, it makes me very disappointed to hear Mikheyev has reverted back to that.
We'll see if he can get it together, but that's a contract that's looking like real bad right now.
It is.
Not good.
Experience basketball like never before with BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA. If you're ready to shoot your shot. Are you guys dribbling?
We're
You're dribbling in studio.
Anybody listening, they can't see us.
Jesse,
Are you double dribbling,
right
Jesse?
here, right here. Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That's here. It's okay. Oh, bounce pass. Here it comes.
By the way, BetMGM is
I got
also
it.
a partner of the NHL. So if you wanted to say bet on how many goals
Nothing
Austin
but
Matthews is
net.
going to get this year, you can.
I scored.
He got nothing but net.
Okay. Right.
It was a good one.
Tap into every
Clark
game
with the threes
on your mobile
who I am.
devices. Get off the sidelines and drive the basket yourself. Guys, do a drive the basket. Do it.
Oh,
You're driving the
You got
basket.
it, Steve.
Steve palm balls it, even Eric. Steve palm balls it even when he's faking it. He was doing this.
This is awful. This is awful.
BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you got any questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge.
Hey, yeah.
Wish. Got it.
You got it.
So I have a question for you. Who is the hottest team in the NHL right now?
The Leafs.
The
6
New
straight.
York Rangers.
Damn.
9 wins in a row.
Wow.
And it's the second longest winning streak in franchise history. The Rangers have twice won 10. 72-73 and 39-40.
Wow.
Yeah.
39.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah. And in 39-40,
Holy
they
fuck.
won the cup.
Wow.
Third of its 4 Stanley Cup titles.
Yeah.
That one should, I don't know.
So,
Listen, the Rangers were really bad for a long time.
Adam,
Okay.
I know you don't really, you're not really into history and everything, but there were kind of a lot of guys off at war.
In 39-40?
Yeah.
Why?
during
What
that-
happened?
during that cup run? Yeah, there might have been.
What happened?
A little of this, a little of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was one war to end all wars, and that was it. That's crazy. Anyway.
Boy, I have bad news for you.
Yeah.
All right, so Matt Rempe.
Yeah, well, okay, so we'll get to him in a second, but I just want to say how impressive it is that a team that lost Wheeler, that lost Hedel, still saying we need a second line center bad. I think Matt Zuccarello is having the lowest 5-on-5 output of his entire career points-wise. I think that's, if I read that right. It's like, he's not, not that he's been bad. Not Matt Zuccarello. Oh my God.
Mika Zibanejad?
Mika Zibanejad. I always
Okay.
get them mixed up. I don't know why.
Because their last name starts with Z.
That's what it is. Mika Zibanejad is having a low output 5-on-5 season for some reason.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man.
Matt Zuccarello. And they were still able to pull this off. And I think when Jesse said at the beginning of last season that Rangers were his pick, even though it seemed somewhat ludicrous, this is a really, really good team that has had some bad luck and some other things that have gone. Lafreniere got 2 goals last night. I know that's the big story for sure coming out of the game.
Not a bad player.
Yeah. I think I was premature in my assessment, but I think my assessment of the team still holds up, in that you have a bunch of do we consider them middle-aged when you're like 30 in hockey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of vets and middle-aged players like Panarin and Zibanejad and Trocheck and everybody there, and then they've been mixing in these young players who can help the forward group, which is where they're kind of deficient in the last few years. Their defense has always been great, and now it's kind of coming to fruition in this winning streak. And in the middle of the season, there was a lull. Like I genuinely thought, I was like, oh. Like, are the Rangers in trouble if this thing doesn't get going soon? And now it's all getting put together at the right time, because this is what you want to be great from March through the end of April and heading into the playoffs. And it seems like they're in the right place right now. It's really good to see.
I was totally shocked the way they got bounced in the first round. Like I thought they were a contender the whole way.
The Devils, they were on a heater last year, and they're playing great.
Well, and like Akira Schmid, like isn't he in the minors right now? Like.
Yeah.
And like didn't have a very good season when he was up in it was just one of those things. It was just one of those things. And like you can't ever take it away from them. The Devils that is. I'm not gonna update how I feel about the Rangers, man. I still think they have a really good chance to at least go to the Final Four.
And one of the biggest things about their early season lulls was Shesterkin, and I call them lulls, but they're still winning the division.
They were very good.
They were at the top of the division the whole time, but Shesterkin didn't have his game together. Like for the entirety of the fall, Jonathan Quick was the best goalie in New York. And then now Shesterkin, it looks like he's good again. Like he's old Shesterkin, which is just even better for the Rangers.
Now, on the other side of last night's game, Nathan Bastian, I think, had the night that the Devils' season has been. So he first gets run over by Matt Rempe. And
how is he allowed to play after that?
Now, it's just come out that he won't even be suspended. And he will not be fined either, I don't think.
That's insane.
This hit is crazy.
That's insane.
Do you need me to give it to you, Jesse?
I got it here.
Yeah, this hit.
It's just not a league.
So crazy.
It's not a league worthy of your respect.
I can't.
Sports.
I cannot believe that you can't even get a fine together for this. So George Peros can at least pretend that he's trying to protect people.
Here, like there was a question asked in bad faith and rhetorically over and over and over again after this hit. What's Rempe supposed to do? Mm-hmm. Because he's tall.
My! Look at that.
This is. I mean, no, it's a full body hit, as was put by.
What? So Steve, what is he supposed to do?
So we got this angle and we got this one.
What's he supposed to do? And I do actually have an answer for that. Throw a legal body check. Dude, like, all right, you're big. You're big. All right. Well, sorry, I didn't realize you were big. Go and do whatever you want then. You're big, go and do whatever you want.
But teams around the league need to look at this. The NHL got smaller.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, well, if that's going to be the cheat code, then use it.
Go and do whatever you want. What's he supposed to do? Anything he wants. Anything he wants within the rules of the game.
Yeah.
When the game has no rules, then it's not a game anymore.
Also, Jesse, can you... Yeah, he's...
Dude, look at that shit!
I don't think his skate's on the ice there. Matty, can you pull Steve's panel down for a second? Okay, his other skate is. Okay, never mind. It looked like... There's a bit like he's out there to crush him. And I think there is... we always put the onus on the player being hit. There is a time when... we do need to talk about the guys who are laying the hit, going, okay, what kind of hit do I want to lay? Yes, I want to blow this guy up. I badly want to blow him up. Mm-hmm. But all Rempe has to do there is sit along the boards and let Bastian run into him. And he probably has the same effect, which is separating the player from the puck without the potential risk. Now, it was fans get into it. They love it.
You sound like a dork saying that.
I know. Mm-hmm. You can definitely give me a noogie and
can I tell you once the whole hey, this is terrible for Bastian, that's like the head hit, it's awful. Rempe could have probably avoided it. The one thing I thought about just pulling back from this incident, it's fucking awesome for the Rangers. You got a kid here who's in his third career game. In 3 games in the NHL, he's had a fight outdoors. Yep. He has 22 penalty minutes.
Holy shit.
He has a massive hit that got him ejected from the game. You have Jacob Trouba 2.0 just out of nowhere.
Yep.
It's fucking awesome going to the playoffs to have this kid.
I have nothing against this kid.
But you
I don't
shouldn't
think-
do this.
No, I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he meant to hit him in the head.
No.
He did.
Yes.
And like maybe like okay, here's a question, and this actually does affect the story. When did this hit happen in the game?
The actual time on the clock, I can give me
Like
a
what
second.
period?
I can pull this up. It was the first period.
first period?
Yeah. It happened early on.
So
And then Trouba went after hit Bastion again later.
oh
in the
my
game,
god,
remember?
That's
that's an even bigger issue.
Yeah.
So
It's first period. If that's
you could argue that because he got 5 in a game, it's one game. This happens in the third period. Maybe he gets a fine. Maybe he gets a game. But you get 5 in a game in the first period. All right, you could argue that counts as a 1-game suspension. But what I won't tolerate at all, is the lazy, nonsensical. What's he supposed to do? What he's supposed to do is throw a legal body check, and you can say, listen, play within the rules, do whatever you need to do to cope with that information, but you have to.
Well, the NHL
No
is
matter
saying
how
that-
big you are.
the NHL is saying that it is within the legal rules.
No,
The
they're
fact
saying
that-
he got kicked out of the game.
the fact that he didn't get a fine though on top of getting kicked out, like if
I
they want to meld their minds into thinking that it's a 1-game suspension, which it isn't,
He still got paid.
he still doesn't have the fine against it too, which it at least should be.
No, hitting guys in the head is awesome and allowed.
I also think
Sorry, I'm glad that we went through 2 weeks of it's bad and shitty and you shouldn't do it anymore, and we're right back to it's good and awesome.
I also think I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this like anybody that says 5 in a game is equivalent to a game or is equivalent to a game suspension. No, it's not.
No.
He gets paid for the game.
You get yeah.
The real penalty here is them not making money.
Morgan Riley went to an appeal, like he appealed the suspension for $39,000
in New York, where their headquarters are.
That's not,
It's the New York bias. You know what? It's actually fun doing this. I regret ever criticizing anyone for making that stupid argument.
Yeah.
okay.
NHL head office or Ranger fan.
To any NHL player, like that's a significant amount of money.
Yes, of course. Well, to any person.
Yeah.
Unless you own a team.
Yeah, there you go. There's some people it's not,
Yeah.
but to anybody in the NHL, like $39,000 means a lot, and the suspension isn't the same.
Well, and I also let's throw this out there. Jonas Siegenthaler was the guy that stepped up on Nathan Bastian's behalf and fought afterwards, and I was like, Jonas Siegenthaler, not.
What? How many?
He got filled.
How many fights does he have on?
I think that might be it. And then later on in the game, Jake Trouba absolutely sends Nathan Bastian to Mars.
Oh
like
my
it's such
goodness.
it's a prime clean Nathan or Jacob Trouba hit. Clean.
Yeah, because
Clean
you're
as a
allowed to
whistle.
throw those. You're allowed to throw.
It
those.
was a great hit, and I don't blame. I can understand Nathan Bastian being pissed after it, but look at this thing. Like, can we get a slowdown so we can show it?
I just want to see it in real time again.
It's just
He tries to kill him. He tries to kill him.
that is a clean, but it's clean, open ice, clean hit. You never see that. Wham!
See, Jesse.
Holy moly!
The screen cap or the slowing it down does not do the speed and violence with which this hit is thrown, and you're allowed. This hit is great. This hit is fine.
I love watching hits like this.
Player has the puck, goes for the body.
And
What's
then-
wrong with that?
And then Bastian
Yeah, I wanna get
goes
to the
after
fight.
Trouba. Trouba beats him. Bastian, who had a bloody nose before, gets another bloody nose, and then gets I think 2 for roughing and 5 for fighting.
Dude, you
Like that's that's the New Jersey Devils season.
where can I apply? Like, is it online? To be a concussion spotter for the NHL.
You can't, because you'd actually have to try.
Dude, how is this player allowed back in the game?
I know.
There's no way Nathan he shouldn't. That hit should have never happened.
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't have been in the game. What the fuck are you doing?
that first hit should be like, hey, you're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got blasted in the brain. You tried to get up, couldn't. fell back down. I don't know if his tooth was already broken or not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the first hit was directly to the head. And
Yes.
if your job is to spot concussions, I don't know how that isn't like an immediate. You got to leave the game.
No idea.
Yeah.
Here, I'm
It's
typing in.
it's crazy.
How
And
big is this dude? I got a
Rempy?
Yeah.
Huge.
Hockey DP says, "Get the fuck out of here! No way!
Yeah.
6'8",
Yeah.
240."
Who did was it Matt Martin? Who's like he has a longer reach than Zdeno Chara
Whoa.
because they fought right off the top in the outdoor game, right?
That's an alien, I think.
Well, that's them. That's the Rangers playing by the cheat code. You can hit anyone and do anything when you're that big. Justin Brazeau should take notes.
Yeah. What's he
Actually,
supposed to do? Throw a legal body check. Hope this helps. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that big.
Yeah, he's huge.
And he still has to play within the rules that people who are 6 feet tall have to play under.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's the rules don't change just because his body's bigger.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, man, he hit him in the head. Yeah, but he's 6'8". Oh, sorry. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I want to pull up the Siegenthaler punch too, because if you want to see this dude's reach, like that's where you see like it's not fair.
Let me see. Listen, I think this player is awesome. The hit sucked. That's all.
So listen, the end of the day, it sucks to be a Devils fan this season, but I feel like this fight's going to be crazy. By the way, I feel like that this is temporary, but they need some goaltending. They need to stop getting filled in like this. Like yikes!
Here's the Rempy punch to Siegenthaler.
Like look at him. Watch. Wham.
It's not like
Oh,
Siegenthaler
no.
can't get close enough to him to fight him because he's so big. Matt, you can bring this up and I'll do so. There's Rempy because he's 6'8". Siegenthaler's just a normal human and he can't get to him to fight back. So
He does this mid stride.
Rempy just punches him in the face.
Poor Siegenthaler.
And he goes down.
Poor Siegenthaler goes in. He's like, I'm going to stick up for my team. Yeah, maybe I'm not. And
you
like,
just-
turns his back.
He just hits him in the face and it's over.
But
No.
you know, like the Rangers knew. The Rangers knew. It's like these guys are scared. They had him.
Oh, yeah.
They had him. It was like, it wasn't even, sometimes you could see teams who's like, oh, tonight you're afraid of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take advantage. And the Rangers do that.
He is
I wish the Leafs would do that a little more.
foot frigging 8.
I know.
240.
Last thing
Lord.
with the game.
And 21 years old. That should be illegal.
And I got one more quick story and then we'll wrap.
Okay, last thing with the game. I want to bring up the quote because I got a serious problem here with Lindy Ruff.
Is it the power play?
Yeah, the power play quote. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. I have hang on. The guy that asked the question is a guy that I follow. His name is James Nichols, and he's a beat reporter for New Jersey Hockey Now. Bleacher Report reported this. Here, Jesse, I'm going to send it to you via text.
Sure.
And so basically, I'll tee this up with, this is what James said. He said, my question was simply the power play. Obviously, they struggled. You made that one tweak, but are you contemplating more changes there? And so when Jesse brings this up, you're going to see quite the response from Lindy Ruffleson.
He
He does get spicy.
I have a feeling he didn't appreciate the question.
I got something to say.
It's a joke.
Coaches don't like questions that sound like suggestions.
Let's hear this quote and then let's talk about it.
I think when you're struggling it, I imagine you've asked every player. Now they're feeling it. You guys are creating excess pressure. Us as a staff, we'll go through that power play. We changed things up. We met with individual groups tonight versus, usually a meeting that you meet with all 10 or 11 of your power play guys. We'll go through the whole thing again. I think when you're struggling it, I imagine.
That's it?
Okay. Yeah. And here's what's bugging people.
What?
Here's what's bugging people today. It's the quote about the media. You're blaming the media for your bad power play.
Yep.
You're toast, buddy. You're toast.
Are you kidding me?
You're fired. Goodbye.
You're an NHL coach and you're blaming the media for asking about the thing you're really shitty at right now?
the people that promote you nightly.
And like the New Jersey media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you're putting the Devils in a real red hot market.
in the
think
last.
They're a tough market to play in.
I think Jack Hughes can handle it, actually.
And if he can't, then I don't know. Like, it's like, is the NHL for you?
Yeah,
Right.
people pay to watch me play. I think the dude who screamed that at an opponent the other night is unfazed by reporters.
Jesse.
In the last 46 power play opportunities, the New Jersey Devils have 2 goals.
Oy vey.
This is a media podcast for media people, and I'm going to defend
No, it
the
is
media
not.
here. I'm going to defend
gonna
the media,
cape bait?
and we need to go after Lindy Ruff, who needs to be fired, because how dare we?
Oh, you're going to be saying sorry, Lindy.
How dare we ask about the thing you are the worst at in the National Hockey League? You're upset that Dougie Hamilton went out, and now they got
That's a big loss.
Now they got 2 young guys who aren't good at running the power play, and they have been terrible at it, and it's our fault for asking. Lindy Ruff's the wrong coach for this team.
I have to admit, that quote, I think, tweets worse than it sounds.
I think
He said what he said.
No,
said what he
because
said.
you showed me the clip, and I kept waiting for it to get interesting.
because you're
And
tired.
You weren't listening to the beginning of that.
Oh,
You
no,
said-
I heard him say it, and I was like, oh, that was a little stupid. But, like, the way he didn't say it like, you fucking...
Yeah, because he's not John Tortorella. He's not going to get worked up about it. He's Lindy Ruff.
The only time I've
This
ever-
is how
Ruff gets
Lindy
worked up.
This is how Lindy Ruff talks
He
about
does-
things.
he-
does,
he-
yeah.
You don't
He
think he
used
gets
to.
worked up? That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, I should. He gets worked up sometimes.
That's a joke.
I
that
think, he
was
should,
20
I
years
think
ago.
he should get worked up more.
Man, he's an old man now, man. Like he can't get
Everyone in hockey's an old man.
you can't get as worked up as you did against Darcy Tucker when you were coaching the Sabres.
Try. Why, Darcy, I'm sure.
Luke
handled it
Hughes
well.
and Simon Nemec are 2 rookies, and they're right now in charge of the worst power play in the National Hockey League. That's a coaching issue. That's a roster construction issue.
Yep.
Losing Dougie Hamilton shouldn't cause your power play to go 2 for 46.
Yep.
2 for 40.
I want to.
You don't even luck into a couple? Like, holy shit.
I want to. Maybe they should have traded for Carlson. I want to. I want to say this. This wasn't a story we were going to bring up, but because it's now hit the waivers, waiver wire, it's important that we need to. Adam Ružička was of the Arizona Coyotes. There was a video of him purportedly. Again, this is unconfirmed, but in the video, it's very clear that there's a plate of cocaine and the little vials that cocaine comes in. Having never
is
done
that what
cocaine,
that
but having
is?
seen people do it, I know it comes in these little vials, right?
I definitely felt like a dork this morning going, is this drugs?
Yeah, it's yeah. I like so. So anyway, so a charts account posted it. And they promoted it, and of course that's when it went viral. That's when you start seeing people in the NHL sharing it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? You know, them posting it. I don't think that I'm not going to make a judgment on that, but I have my own private feelings about it, and we'll move on. What is really interesting is Adam Ružička is going to be waived today for purposes of contract termination.
Oh, wow.
And I think that that's a fucking horrible look.
I really
For the Coyotes?
really don't like that.
For the Coyotes, for the NHLPA, where is the PA here? This is a person that, listen, people use recreational drugs. We can all walk around and pretend that they use there's plenty of people that use recreational drugs consistently. Whether or not the person has a problem, I'm not at liberty to say. If they're putting it on Instagram, that's problematic. And I would say this.
It's not a good decision.
It's not a good decision. And usually people who are not in a good spot make bad decisions, right?
Right.
Pretty basic math here. But for the Coyotes to just go, nope, you're gone, and there's no, I hope at very least they said, Adam, we saw the video that you put on your Instagram Live or whatever it was. Are you willing to enter the player substance or the player, whatever
Assistance
the
program, yeah.
Player assistance. It used to be player substance abuse program. Now we've watered down the term. Now it's player assistance
Because
program.
it doesn't have to be substance abuse. It can also be mental health. So
Right.
It's not watered down.
I feel like they should be two separate things, but you're right.
Altered.
And if he says no, then I think, like, if they say you
Yeah.
need to enter this program and he goes, no, I don't have a problem, then you've got every right.
What needs to happen here is we need more details on the conversation that hopefully happened between the him and the Coyotes, and that they offered this to him and it was like turned down, because that's the right course of action.
Jesse, it's 1:43 right now. That tweet was posted around 9 a.m. So to me, there's no way that there's been enough research, investigation done for this. And I'm not saying that this player isn't a problem or doesn't have a problem or there have been issues behind the scenes or maybe this is 3 strikes and you're out. I don't know. But the point is that is not enough time. Well, you could have slept on it. You could have taken the time, and you could have, if you're the NHLPA, the PA's got to step in here.
Well,
they have to.
That's
step
what
in.
I was going to bring up. So we all know what happened with Alex Galchenyuk this summer.
Yes,
the Coyotes signed him. He had his contract terminated like a week later because of an incident with the police. The video got released. However bad you thought it was going to be, it was worse, way worse. But I believe the PA was looking into that because this is a player you just signed and then you ripped up the deal. And now you got this. And I mean, the timeline it's pretty tight, as Adam just mentioned. And you might be saying, yeah, well, they ripped up Corey Perry's contract. They're looking into that too.
Oh, there might be listen, Corey Perry might get every dollar.
He might.
And I think him signing in Edmonton for the money he signed for probably means he's going to get every dollar, because I can tell you there were at least 10 teams who were willing to pay Corey Perry a couple $1 million to come to them.
There
and he went
was
to Edmonton.
A deadline for his appeal, and apparently it's been they've agreed that they're going to push the deadline, and that the deadline I think was beginning of February, and that's not the case anymore. That deadline is now removed, and he's going to have more time to file an appeal if he chooses to.
So
this
off season probably,
and that's Perry. So this is important.
Yeah, that's Corey Perry.
This is important, and we've talked about this with players who've had problems before. When a player has their contract terminated, it's on the grounds that it's damaging to the brand, and they've done contract stuff that is detrimental to the team, conduct detrimental to the team. A player in the program in the NHL cannot have their contract ripped up. When a player has a contract terminated, they and their family lose all medical benefits immediately.
Why do some players go into the program while others have their contract terminated for what appears to be the exact same?
Well, the other side of that, Steve, is that if you're dealing with a problem, not everybody's ready to accept that they have a problem.
Right.
Not everybody's ready to accept that it's time to stop.
Right.
So there can be that. And listen, we have to be sensitive carrying this story, but it just seems to me like this is all this is too fast. You could have taken the weekend and figured this out. There's nothing, if he said no or whatever happened, whatever went down this morning and early this afternoon, all you need to do is go, why doesn't everybody sleep on this? But this cannot continue and you're not dressing. That's fine.
Oh boy, what a mess.
What a mess. What an absolute
The
mess.
Coyotes haven't said anything, though.
No, they haven't. Frege was the one that tweeted it.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's a pretty good source.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate that this is what Twitter has become. Are we sure it's Frege?
It's Frege. He's got
Okay.
800,000 followers. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
So it's,
I understand. I checked it too. Because it especially around trade deadline, you're like, oh boy.
There's a lot of fake Freges
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's pretty bad.
Really bad. So here's what I want to say. We'll end this story on this. Whatever Adam Ružička is going through right now, I wish him the best, and I hope that if there's help needed, that he gets it. That's the only thing that you can.
And I hope the Arizona Coyotes didn't just offer a deterrent to players who were thinking about going and getting some help.
Exactly. All right, so we'll end it there. Remember, SDP VIP comes out, or is already out. It's out today.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's out.
It's up.
Yep.
Yep.
And then talked about a shoebox.
We certainly
We
did.
talk about $50,000 in a shoebox.
Let's end on this.
Let's do it.
Fucking Bart Simpson said the line. Patrick Waugh pulled the goalie in against the St. Louis Blues with 10 minutes left in the
love it.
third
No
period.
way. I love
this man.
Yeah.
I love this man.
It was awesome.
It's so good to have him back.
I think it was 10:55 left in the third. The Islanders pulled their goalie.
Less
against the
than
Blues.
halfway through the period.
Unbelievable. He said it. He said I didn't do it. Bart Simpson said the line.
We missed you, Pat.
Yeah, we missed you. Glad you're back.
What a silly goof.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.